Liberal Dan Radio presents
Fat Man Rant.
As we all know, the Trump administration is trying to get 5 to 10% of the federal workforce to resign, to quit, to leave early. And he's doing so under what in the link in the chat is the fork in the road. Basically, they want 4 pillars to be in this new federal workforce that is reformed. 1, they want people to return to office. I'll have another rant about that in a little bit. 2, they want performance culture, as if people aren't performing their duties properly. 3, they want a more streamlined and flexible workforce. Streamlined isn't necessarily great if it means what people view as streamlining is oftentimes trying to, again, swat flies with hammers and enhance standards of conduct. This is probably one of the most damning part of it. The federal workforce should be comprised of employees who are reliable, loyal, trustworthy, and who strive for excellence in their daily work. Loyal. They want people who are going to be loyal, not to the government, not to the country, not to their oaths that they take when they're serving, but loyal to Donald Trump. That's what he wants. We all knew that was coming. We all knew that they wanted to get rid of civil servants, to get rid of what they call the so-called deep state, and to only have people who are loyal to the president and who are not going to be, beholden to, all these complicated things like, the oaths that they take to the Constitution and, the government as a whole and to the nation that they've been serving for years and years and years. So what they say, if you choose to remain in your current position, we thank you for your renewed focus, blah, blah, blah. At this time, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated, you'll be treated with dignity and afforded protections in place for such positions. BS, don't believe you, F you. But here's the other part. If you choose to not continue in your current role in the federal workforce, we thank you for your service, for your country, and will be provided with a dignified, fair departure from the federal government, utilizing a deferred resignation program. This program begins effective January 28th and is available to all federal employees until February 6th, so they're giving a very short time to respond to this BS. If you resign under this program, you will retain all pay and benefits regardless of your daily workload, i.e. they'll probably have you sit home doing nothing. Kind of like, people who get paid, but are not played in the NFL or whatever. At least that's what they want you to believe. And then that will be the case through September 30th, 2025, supposedly, or earlier if you choose to accelerate your resignation for any reason. The details of the separation plan can be found below. Whichever path you choose, we thank you for your service, blah, 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 blah. Upon review of the deferred resignation letter, you select reply to this email, and then it has to be it can't be from anything other than a .gov or .mil account, and type the word resign and hit send. The last day to accept the deferred resignation is February 6th, and the deferred resignation letter goes as follows. Please accept this letter as my formal resignation from employment with my employment agency effective September 30th, 2025. I understand I have the right to accelerate but not extend my resignation date if I wish to take advantage of the deferred resignation program. I understand that if I am or become eligible for earlier normal retirement before my resignation date, that I retain the right to elect earlier normal retirement once eligible, blah, blah, blah. Given my impending resignation, I understand I will be exempt from any return to office requirements pursuant to recent directives, blah, blah, blah. I'll maintain my current compensation, supposedly, and retain all existing benefits, supposedly, including but not limited to retirement accruals, until that resignation date. I am certain of my decision to resign, and my choice is fully voluntary. BS, they're being forced out. I understand my employing agency will likely make adjustments in response to my resignation, including moving, eliminating, consolidating, reassigning my position and tasks, reducing my official duties, and/or placing me on paid administrative leave until my resignation date. I'm committed to ensuring a smooth transition during my time remaining during my employing agency. Accordingly, I will assist my employing agency with any completing reasonable customary tasks and process to facilitate my departure, which is, again, another load of BS, and I'll tell you why in a second. I understand that my acceptance of this office will be sent to OPM, blah, blah, blah. Upon submission of resignation, you will receive confirmation that we've received your email. Any replies to this email shall be for the exclusive use of accepting the deferred resignation letter, blah, blah, blah. Once your resignation is validly sent and received, the Human Resources Department will contact you to complete any additional documentation. Blah, 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 blah. Lots of blah, 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 blah. So, anybody working for the feds who received this email, I would first recommend that you speak to an attorney immediately before making any decision on this. You shouldn't have to, but you should. Why? Because personally, I wouldn't do it. First of all, I question the legality of it all. I question the legality of whether or not he'd actually put people on administrative leave at this level and continue to pay them regardless of whether or not they want them to work for him or not. You know, if you resign, you could very well lose all your civil service protections. And that's probably what they're hoping for. They're probably hoping that you just buy that they're being truthful to you. They're hoping that you will just accept what they're saying at face value and that, you know, you will get paid through September 30th. But here's one of the problems with what's going on with this. The people elected Donald Trump, who voted for Donald Trump, say in part that they like Donald Trump because he runs government, or he would run government like a business. But we all know how Donald Trump runs businesses, don't we? We've seen examples, plenty of examples, where he took, you know, people's, you know, he paid people a little bit of money to do a task for him, like for his casino, and then he didn't pay them the full amount that he agreed to pay them. And then when he didn't pay them that amount, he said, sue me. And so instead of suing, they would basically take some settlement offer, which was less than the initial agreed upon price. I have no doubt in my mind that that's going through Donald Trump's head right now. I have no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump's going to be like, I'm going to get these people to resign. They're going to lose their civil service protections by resigning officially. And then we're not going to pay them. We'll let them go 2-3 months down the road. And what are they going to do? Sue the federal government? Even if they got a class action lawsuit going against the federal government, again, you don't get fully reimbursed for a class action settlement. You'll get pennies on the dollar. And you have to pay the attorneys out of it. And because, you know, what are your chances of suing the government anyway? Sovereign immunity defends them or protects them from a good bit. So the only way that I would accept this is if I get all the money up front. But even if you get all of the pay up front that you would be due, you're not going to get the benefits. You might lose benefits month 1, month 2, month 4, month 6. And I'm sure some stupid Facebook fact checker or other fact checkers in the media are going to be like, well, there's nothing in the letter that says that they could be fired, and he says that he won't, that they'll continue getting their compensation. But what if they're asked to do things that are unreasonable for their jobs, but they label as customary? Then they're going to fire them for cause. And then they'll give up all the other things that they didn't, you know, were promised. But if you trust a promise by Donald Trump, you're a huge freaking idiot. So, if you're considering this and are willing to just go without benefits and risk that, and willing to risk it, I would demand your money up front. But it doesn't sound like you can get your money up front. So that's why I wouldn't do this. Force their hand. Force their hand to go through the civil service procedures to get rid of you. Even if it means having to return to work. Even if it means having to go into the office full time. Now, for some people made decisions. Like, I know somebody who works for the federal government who now would have to commute like an hour and a half each day to get back and forth to her job. So, commuting an hour and a half each day is ridiculous. But she was promised or told at the time that she could continue working from home. So that's why she moved. She moved to a better place that was better for her so she could continue doing her job. There's no reason for anybody to believe that this letter, that this bunch of malarkey is anything but disingenuous. And again, I would talk to a lawyer if you're questioning or if you're considering this at all. I would absolutely, I mean, it might cost you some money to find out that information, but don't trust, I wouldn't touch this with the 10-foot pole. Make them fire you via civil service regulations. Make them take the actions against you while looking for a new job. And then once you find a new job, you can then resign and retire and have that be the end of it. but don't make it easy on them. Don't make his job of screwing people over any more easy than it already is. He's going to have plenty of ways to screw people over. Don't help them out. What do you think? Should people take advantage of this offer? Agree or disagree with any of the points that I made in this video? Make sure to like the video, comment, share it with your friends, and of course, unless you're a Nazi, have a good day.